I am Pura Kapil, the moderator for today's discussion. The panelists are
I am Puraroto.
I'm Riya Hina.
I'm Furuka.
I'm Roshni Singh.
Today's discussion will be based on the topic child labor in India. Child labor is one of the most important concerns in the world because it affects the children both physically and mentally. 1 in every 11 children in India is working. More than half of the 5 million children working in India are mainly concentrated in 5 states: Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, UP, and Bihar. So, what is the first thing that comes in your mind when you hear about the topic child labor?
Child Labor Act 1986 defines child labor as illegal practice of forcefully engaging the children below the age of 14 years in economic activities on a part or full-time basis.
Okay, so engaging children to work who are below the age of 14 years is called child labor. What do you think are the causes for child labor?
I think poverty is the main cause of child labor because it compels the parents to send their children to work and earn some money. The second reason for its existence in the society is that people have accepted it and the poor economical background and the social discrimination between the boys and the girls which you often face in India.
And lack of educational resources?
Yeah, rightly said.
So according to Rodo, the curse of poverty and the acceptance of people are the main causes for child labor. I think we'd all like to know what exactly happens in child labor, like what different kinds of work they have to do and what happens to them.
Firstly, the children are sexually exploited by engaging them in hideous crimes such as rape, prostitution, etc., after which they succumb to sexually transmitted diseases such as HIV, AIDS, and also abortion. There have also been various cases where children, especially belonging to the ethnic minorities, have been abducted and trafficked into organ trades and sex trades. I remember one such incident back in 2017, where hundreds of children dwelling in Kolkata's Sealdah railway station were abducted just to be sold off into sex trade and slavery. And living in today's generation, all of us have known the importance of those radiant and those shimmery makeup that we
Yes,
all
I remember that Michael one as well.
yeah, that we all treasure so much. But many of us are not aware that children are used as a low-cost asset to mine mica from the underground mines under hazardous circumstances, mainly in the areas of Rajasthan and Jharkhand. And despite the NCPCR being aware of this issue, hasn't done much yet and blames it on the poverty and the desperate education in these areas.
I remember that Michael one as well. What is the full form of NCPCR?
The National Commission for the Protection of Child Rights.
Okay, but do you think that there is only forced type of labor? Like I have seen children for working for domestic purposes as well.
Yes, it is true that people employ underage children for domestic help. People are so lazy that they employ small children to work in their houses. But in some cases, we witness physical abuse which involves corporal punishment, tiredness and dizziness due to overworking, and some general injuries like cuts and burns.
Yes, that was my point. I think domestic child labor is seen more often in Arunachal, to be honest, in Itanagar itself. So, how does it affect us? Our society, our country?
In a healthy society, an individual performs their role according to their age, their capacities, and their health condition. However, children who are involved in child labor face harsh working conditions, which leads to numerous problems such as premature aging, malnutrition, depression, and they eventually get involved into activities that indulge the use of alcohol and drugs. Therefore, growing up in such an environment will eventually harm the society in future.
So Rodo says that the future of a child is determined by how the child is brought up in the society. So what about Uga?
I feel that child labor is a huge burden for our economy, as the children are not able to grow and use their potential to shape the future of our country.
And Hina?
I think due to lack of education and proper guidance, they get influenced by criminals and take shortcuts to become rich and end up committing crime at a tender age. The rates of juvenile crimes are increasing day by day in India.
So all this talk about child labor, its causes, what happens to them, and how it affects our society, who do you think is responsible for all this?
I think the government is responsible because even after many promises, laws, rules and regulations, they fail to implement it properly, which is why it still prevails in our society.
But the government has also implemented innovative schemes like midday meals to encourage children to attend school instead of working, right?
For me, it's the public because despite knowing what child labor is and how it affects our society, people keep on practicing such acts.
Yeah, like days before, I've heard one of my relatives talking to his friend about how a father was willing to sell his 3-year-old child for Indian rupees 50,000. Like, it's a very shameful act, right?
But there are also contributions from public. Many are raising their voice against child labor by creating NGOs, etc.
Okay, that is one point as well. I think Roshni and Hina are all optimistic. But don't you think that child labor is good in a way? Like the children who would starve to death if they remain with their irresponsible parents are at least getting fed by their employers.
No. Even though they are being fed by their employers, the point is that they are well below the legal age to earn for themselves and be responsible.
Shame on the parents who sell their kids just to take off their burden while they are the ones who carelessly give birth and later let the children suffer.
Yes, that was sharp. So, this arises the most important question: how to stop such practices? How to stop child labor?
Okay, so I think such practices can be stopped by proper implementation of laws such as mandatory free schooling, mapping of vulnerable groups, and giving harsh punishment to anyone who don't follow the law, no matter who they are or whomever they may belong to.
For me, spreading awareness by protesting, a very powerful way of drawing attention towards child labor, raising slogans, through media play and by giving donations, etc.
Okay, so according to Rodo, it's by proper implementation of laws, and Hina told us about spreading awareness. What about Unka?
I feel that by discouraging people to employ young children in their shops, homes, factories, etc., and also by educating and awareing our own friends and families to work against employing young children.
Okay.
By supporting NGOs such as Save the Children. Save the Children Fund is commonly known as Save the Children, was established in United Kingdom in 1990.
Okay, so witnessing such an awful, hideous and terrifying practice, we should all take part in raising voices against child labor. India is one of the foremost countries in Asia that has over 33 million children working under various forms of child labor. And this is not something pleasant to hear about. We even witness child labor in our own state, Arunachal, in Itanagar and various other towns as well. One in every 10 house has an underage child employed for domestic help. People try to invest and modernize technologies while this type of major concern is left unseen. So it is high time that we get our minds straight, say no to child labor, and remove child labor from our society. Remember that sometimes the smallest step in the right direction ends up being the biggest step of your life. So I hope everyone understood and got what we wanted to express by the discussion we did today. So with this, we would like to conclude. Thank you and have a nice day.